For most of my adult life, I believed stability came from endurance. If you worked hard, stayed patient, kept the house running, and put everyone else first, life would eventually reward you with peace. I believed that right up until the morning my husband, Eric, walked out the door and left me standing in the kitchen with our two children, 6-year-old Lily and 3-year-old Noah, holding an unpaid mortgage bill in one hand and an empty bank account in the other. He didn't leave a note. He didn't leave money. He didn't leave shame or guilt or regret. He just left. This is the story of how I survived those months, how I quietly prepared for a future he never imagined I'd reach, and how I finally walked into a courtroom with my head held high while he turned pale as paper. This is my revenge, and I earned every second of it. Eric used to be charming, not kind, charming, the kind of man who smiled wide enough to distract people from looking too closely. In the early years of our marriage, I worshipped that smile. I thought it meant something. But charm is tricky like that. It can look like love until you realize it was just a mask. The morning he left, we'd argued, again, about money. Actually, I argued. He shrugged, deflected, minimized, ignored. I discovered that he'd drained the emergency fund for business investments, which was his new term for gambling. The bills were piling up, including 3 missed mortgage payments. When I confronted him, he rubbed his face like he was the one exhausted. "I can't do this anymore, Anna." I thought he meant the fight. He meant the marriage. He packed a bag in 10 minutes. He kissed the kids on the forehead like he was going on a weekend trip. And then he told me, over his shoulder, "You'll figure it out. You always do." Then the door closed, and that was it. 15 years together, gone like breath in cold air. I didn't cry right away. I went numb. There were 2 tiny humans depending on me. Rent, groceries, school drop-offs, bedtime routines. Life didn't pause because he vanished, but the math didn't lie. My part-time job at the library paid barely enough to cover food and utilities, never mind the mortgage that now towered over me like a monster. I could feel the walls of the house leaning forward, ready to crush us. I had no family nearby. No savings, no support, but I had a routine, and routines keep you sane when the world ends. Wake up, pack lunches, drop Lily at school, take Noah to my neighbor Linda's house, work my shift, pick up kids, apply for night jobs, cry in the shower. Sleep 2 hours, repeat. Some nights the exhaustion was so heavy I thought I could drown in it, but every morning, 2 little faces looked at me with absolute trust, so I kept going. If not for Linda, I think I would have collapsed. She was in her late 60s, retired, with a garden that looked like something out of a fairy tale. When she heard what happened, she didn't pity me, she acted. "I'm watching Noah for free," she announced one afternoon, handing me a cup of tea I didn't remember asking for. "And don't argue. I raised 4 boys. One more won't kill me." She became our lifeline. She slipped casseroles onto my porch. She babysat during emergencies. She listened when I needed someone to speak the truth to. And one night, she told me something that stuck with me. "You're stronger than he ever expected." And that scares men like him. At the time, I didn't believe her. But she was right. Within weeks, I was working 3 jobs. Library during the day, cleaning offices at night, sorting produce at a farmer's market on weekends. I sold my wedding ring to keep the lights on. I mended clothes for neighbors for extra cash. I clipped coupons like it was a competitive sport. Each dollar felt like a battle won. But the mortgage, that was a war I was losing. Every letter from the bank felt heavier than the last. Final notice and thick red ink. Immediate action required. I kept them hidden in a drawer, buried under the kids' school drawings. Every time the phone rang, my heart jumped. Every knock on the door made my stomach twist, but I didn't let the kids see any of it. To them, life stayed normal, and that became my own quiet rebellion. It was a Tuesday, rainy, cold, the kind of day where everything feels damp, even your thoughts. I was sorting mail when I saw it. a white envelope, plain, no return address. Inside was a letter from the State Lottery Commission. At first, I frowned, probably another scam. But when I unfolded the paper, a sentence jumped out and nearly knocked the breath out of me. "We are pleased to inform you that you are the verified winner of..." I read the number 3 times. Then a fourth, then a fifth. It was real. I had won $580,000. My knees buckled. I had to sit on the floor because the room was spinning. I laughed, then cried, then laughed again hysterically, until Noah wandered in and asked if I was okay. I hugged him so tightly he squeaked. And then, after the shock wore off, I made a promise to myself. Eric must never know. Not until moment it would hurt him the most. I contacted a financial advisor recommended by Linda's daughter. We made a plan: pay off the mortgage, create college funds for both kids, build a safety net, keep the rest hidden until divorce proceedings began. But I didn't quit my jobs. I didn't change my lifestyle. I didn't tell a soul except Linda. Because Eric was unpredictable. And if word got out, he would come crawling back, not for love, but for money. I wasn't giving him a cent, so I played broke, tired, struggling. I kept working, kept cleaning offices, kept clipping coupons. I let him underestimate me, because the sweetest revenge is the one no one sees coming. 3 months later, I was served. Eric was filing for divorce. He was demanding shared custody, half the house, spousal support, and he claimed I had abandoned him emotionally. I laughed so hard I nearly choked. He really thought I was still desperate, still broke, still that scared woman he left behind. His lawyer requested a court date. I didn't argue. I waited, plotted, prepared, and then I hired the best attorney in town, paid in full, up front. The morning of the hearing, I wore a simple black dress and tied my hair back. Nothing dramatic, nothing flashy, but I walked in with confidence I hadn't felt in years. Eric was already there, leaning back in his chair, smirking, wearing a cheap suit and entitlement-like cologne. His expression changed the moment my lawyer walked in, then changed again when my attorney placed 3 thick folders on the table. Financial statements, receipts, records, evidence of abandonment, bank transfers showing he emptied our accounts, proof of his gambling debts, and finally, the fully paid mortgage statement with my name only. Eric's smile evaporated. He leaned toward me and hissed, "Where the hell did you get this kind of money?" I leaned back and said quietly, "You'll find out when the judge does." And oh, did he. My lawyer spoke clearly, calmly, methodically. When she finished, the judge looked at Eric like he was something unpleasant stuck to the bottom of a shoe. The final ruling: I retained full custody. I kept the house. Eric owed back child support. He was denied any financial claim over my assets. His gambling behavior was entered into the record. And the best part, the judge asked if I wanted a restraining order. I said yes. Eric's face turned grey. He looked like someone had unplugged his soul. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel fear. I felt free. Eric tried calling, texting, begging, threatening, pleading. I blocked him on everything. When he showed up at the house one night, banging on the door and demanding answers, the restraining order kicked in. 2 officers escorted him away. He hasn't tried since. The kids and I, we're good now. Really good. The house is ours, the bills are paid. Their futures are secure. I'm still working at the library because I genuinely love it, but I only work one job now. I cook dinner without crying. I sleep through the night. I laugh again. I breathe again. Sometimes I sit outside with Linda and watch the kids play. She nudges my arm and says, "See? I told you." Stronger than he ever expected. She was right. People say money doesn't solve problems. Maybe not all of them. But sometimes money is the wind you need to finally blow open a locked door. Eric left me with debt, despair, and 2 children who deserved better than the man who walked out on them. I didn't just survive. I rebuilt, reclaimed, rose. And when I faced him in court, I didn't tremble. He did. That was my closure. My victory. My flex revenge. My life now belongs to me and my children. And I'm finally at peace.